Some shifts in life happen the way evening light changes in a quiet room, slowly, without announcement, until suddenly everything looks different. One of those quiet shifts happened recently when a close friend from high school came to stay with me for a few days. Back then, he and I were obsessed with personal development. We'd linger after class on staircases and empty corridors, arguing about purpose and growth with the kind of unfiltered enthusiasm only teenagers can muster. And strangely, even now, whenever we meet as adults, we slip right back into those conversations as if no time has passed. It's always been one of the constants in my life, the ease with which we could pick up exactly where we left off. So when he visited, I think I unconsciously expected that same presence, that same spark, that same attentiveness to ideas and to each other. But something felt slightly off this time. Nothing dramatic, just a thin shift in the atmosphere. During our conversations, he kept drifting into his phone, a message here, a notification there. He would look down, type something quickly, glance back up with a half smile, then repeat the cycle again. I told myself it was normal. Everyone is stretched thin these days. But each interruption felt like a tiny thread snapping in a conversation we were trying to hold together. And then there was something even quieter. He had traveled alone across the country for this trip, leaving behind a wife managing young kids at home. And not once did he acknowledge her effort. No moment of appreciation. No small recognition slipped into conversation. Just silence around the sacrifice that made the trip possible. It wasn't judgment that rose in me at first. More like a soft, unsettled feeling. A faint heaviness sitting somewhere behind my ribs. And then, before I could stop it, the thought appeared. Is he still the person I thought he was? Or did I build the version of him in my mind and forget to update it? It felt uncomfortable to admit that maybe I had been holding on to a younger image of him, someone deeply aware, reflective, grounded, someone who lived the things he talked about. Someone who held himself to a higher level of attentiveness. Seeing that image blur felt like watching a favorite photograph slowly lose clarity. I kept wondering why it bothered me so much. Why something so small felt so loud inside me. Why a subtle change in someone else tugged at a very personal thread in me. Maybe because he had been a mirror at one point. A companion on the path of figuring out who we wanted to become. Someone who challenged me, pushed me, asked me questions I didn't know how to answer. And now, I wasn't sure where he stood, or if he even thought about standing anywhere. A part of me felt guilty for feeling this at all. Why am I measuring him against a standard he never asked to be placed on? Who made me the keeper of whether someone is walking the path? Why do I assign roles to people without even realizing it? Adulthood has a way of revealing the distance between who we think someone is and who they actually are on an ordinary day. And sometimes that gap isn't dramatic, it's barely a crack, but it still shifts something quietly inside you. The sadness wasn't sharp, it was more like a quiet dimming. A gentle, unsteady feeling, like realizing a compass you trusted might be slightly misaligned. And now I keep circling the same question. How do I be friends with him again, now that something inside the image feels altered? I don't know the answer. Maybe friendship in adulthood isn't supposed to rest on idealized versions of people. Maybe it's allowed to sag a little. Maybe people don't need to be symbols of growth or reflection. They can just be who they are, uneven, distracted, sincere in some places and oblivious in others. Maybe the discomfort I felt says more about my expectations than about his actions. Maybe letting go of the pedestal makes room for a different kind of connection, one that's simpler, softer, less about mirroring, and more about being present with each other as flawed, busy, distracted adults. I'm not sure. I'm still sitting with it. What I do know is that the shift doesn't erase our history. It doesn't undo the conversations that shaped us. It doesn't mean he stopped caring. It just means I'm seeing him differently. And that difference is asking me to adjust, not abandon, the friendship. Maybe over time, the feeling will settle. Maybe we'll find our way back to those old conversations. Or maybe things will quietly change, and that will have to be okay too. I don't know what friendship is supposed to look like at this age. I'm just trying to understand why this mattered so much.